That was very good.
Yeah, it was better than I thought, actually. Welcome back to the B2B Power Hour. Morgan, a birdie told me that there was an extravaganza today.
It's an extravaganza today, a profile review extravaganza.
Ooh.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Friday. It's the B2B Power Hour. We're
It's
back.
the B2B Power Hour.
It's 9 a.m. on a coast. It's 12 p.m. on another coast. That means we are live on because it's Friday. So welcome, 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 one and all. Is our sound muted? It might be you, Sharon.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. No, I got bars.
I got
Green
bars
bars.
too.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So, Morgan, I had this moment.
Oh, okay. Question of the day. Yeah, go for it.
I had this moment recently, and listeners, I need your help. So I was sitting in my car, which doesn't happen that often anymore. is sitting in my car, and one of my favorite songs came on, and then another one of my favorite songs came on. I'm like, man, what station is on? And it was the classic rock station.
Okay.
So I had to, after the third really great song came on, I had to pull to the side of the road, turn off the radio, and sit there and just reflect in silence of when the classic rock station starts to play some of your favorite music. Is that because I'm old or I just have a great taste in music? What do you guys think?
Throw it in chat. Is Nick just getting old? Does he just have gray hairs from his music taste, or does he just have good taste in music? I'm supposedly getting gray hairs. It's not. I'm too young for this. It's not good.
Are you gonna blame it on me? You are
Cynthia
old.
says you are old. I love
Okay.
chat blowing up. Just you're old, Nick. You're just old. I love it. All right. So
Evan, yes.
yes. This is great. I feel
It
like
was a funny moment. I'm like, is this how my dad felt?
I think so.
Morgan, stop triggering.
Nurjan has great taste in music. Totally nothing to do with being a million years old. That's good. That's great.
Aged and experience. Yes.
I think you just have. I think you have good taste, and you're old. I think it's a both. Just getting up there. So
Can I ask a follow-up question then?
okay, go for it.
What's your favorite genre of music?
Oh God,
Whether
that's
you're
hard.
working or
Mhm.
you're out for a run, what is your go-to music when you want to get pumped up?
Drop that in chat. Warm it up. We want to see some comments. I have been on a I don't know what to call it because it's definitely not EDM. I'm not an EDM guy, but it's also not
Some
exactly like
lo-fi?
lo-fi beats. It's like a little higher pace than lo-fi beats.
Is it hi-fi?
That's what I would. But is that a category? I'm just not sure if hi-fi beats are a category. Otherwise, yeah, I'll turn on some something in that category at the gym to get going, basically.
This makes me think of sales nav and all the new categories that come in because they're like that crossover. Or when you're like beer and you're like, what is this new subcategory? It sounds a lot like this. No, but it's different. Oh, is it really?
Evan, we're still friends. I know you're a rave head, but we're still friends. Don't worry. I have nothing against it. It's just not for me.
I listen to a lot of different music. Partly why the
Same.
classic rock, like I can listen to classic rock and work because I can just zone out in it. I'll sometimes listen to like classical and piano.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll put on like EDM
Mm-hmm.
that's just more like electronic and it's just really high pace.
Mm-hmm.
It's also good for running because you just do your thing.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Hip
I'm
hop.
loving
Let's
all
go
of the
there.
answers coming into chat. We've got 20 profiles to review today, so we should probably jump on in, Nick.
Is that what you picked?
Yeah, we have 20. We have 20 total.
Whew.
So
Let's do it.
first of all, I think it's important to say we got 20 profiles to go through today. If we don't get to your profile, or if you asked for one and you didn't get it, you can expect a DM from me. And we have a fun gift resource for you in case we don't get to your profiles today. But stick around because a lot of the stuff we'll talk about, I guarantee you it can help you if you're looking to review your profile. The other thing to keep in mind for today, we are going to think about profiles in the eyes of a buyer who is out on social.
Uh-oh.
I know. Big deal around here.
What do
But
you mean?
we're not in the past and also in DMs and with friends, like we have talked about like the recruiting aspect or thinking about as applying for jobs, and that's its own thing. But we're going to think specifically as like a buyer. We're going to look at a profile as a buyer. So, Nick, what is the main thing that a buyer looks at on a profile? Let's just get some ground rules here, some helpful principles that we
I,
think about.
I want to go one step back. And so a lot of the time when we think you're going to go for the 3-second test. Of course, 3-second test is so important. But there's one bigger question that you should probably ask just before we get to this 3-second test. And that is, what do you need to look like for a buyer to see you as a great champion? What needs to be in that profile for them to feel confident to go and pass your information off? Because they're going to Google you, they're going to go and look. So, how are you prepping yourself? Building out that profile, building out that content, all those things that they need to see to feel confident in the buying decision they're about to make. It doesn't matter if it's big or small. What is it that they need to see? And this leads into what Morgan was just asking about, and that's the 3-second test.
Hmm.
I posted about it this morning, but you have 3 seconds to grab someone's attention. And they're really only looking at 3 different things. Kind of crazy how quickly we make a judgment and we try to put everybody into a box so that we can understand and compare them. Are they better? Are they worse?
Hmm.
Are they best we've ever seen?
Should I pay
Hopefully.
attention, at all? Are they going to pitch me? That's one thing buyers ask a lot.
And funny enough, the two things that are the most important because you're commenting, right?
Hmm.
And posting content is your profile shot. Is
Hmm.
it professional? Are you looking? Can they see more than just your face and not your whole entire body?
Hmm.
A good professional headshot's kind of like mid-high chest and shows you. It helps people frame you. And one thing that we learned the hard way, and Morgan challenged me on this, and I said, "No, Morgan, you are wrong. You do not know what you are talking about. A smile does not make a difference."
A smile made a difference.
It didn't make it didn't make a big difference. It made a freaking huge difference.
I think.
It was about we got about double the connect rates on a smile, and more people
Mhm.
were willing to start a conversation because it makes you more approachable. Smile, look friendly. Think about if you're walking through a bar or coffee shop or the grocery store and you see someone and they look up at you. What does approachable look like?
Mhm.
Switch places and think of what you would need to see to feel confident to bring yourself to the table, to
Mhm.
go and be that champion.
And then the other thing in your 3-second test is your headline. And that's the little thing of text that appears everywhere you comment or post content and appears at the top of your profile. We're going to be looking and reviewing headlines. And there's the sort of basic principles that we think about that we've learned from buyers and from our experiments is that if you are using social to prospect, if you're using social to connect with buyers, it cannot be pitchy. It cannot be ROI focused. It can't talk about returns or how good you are or how great your company is. It's best if it focuses on a category or on a service offered without anything to do with how good you are. Because if you include that, what happens when you send a connect request is those people will just say no, they're going to pitch me and they won't pay attention to you. And this is different.
They see
If
the
you go
buy
to
now button.
yeah. If you go to a different LinkedIn audience and you find another person who talks about LinkedIn, there's a bunch of us out here. They may say you should have a headline that has ROI and we increased response rates by 45% or whatever. In our experience, that's great. if you're a content creator. If you only do content, if you're only driving inbound, that's fine. But if you're doing any sort of outbound, if you're doing any kind of connection requests with target accounts, target leads, etc., it does not work. And I'm talking like like less than a third accept compared to what you can achieve with a good headline. So like you're losing 2/3 of your audience if you don't have a headline that's written well. I think these are good principles, but should we put them into practice, Nick? Shall we take a look at some profiles?
A good book is Talk Like Ted, just to kind of get you guys head
Mm.
in the mind space. And one of the questions that they ask is, what makes your heart sing? People love to work with people that are passionate and have that energy that really gets out there, because when that energy is in your word choice, in your tagline, in your about section, it makes them want to learn more. And so what happened when me and Morgan took out the shadow pitch or like these more sales focused lines, it actually drove more conversations. People wanted to know more about us. They wanted to hear our stories, and it really changed. And someone who's in the chat today that does a really good job of being authentic to who they are is Evan Patterson.
Hmm.
When everybody leans away because they're worried about something that's core to who they are, Evan leans in and isn't afraid to use his voice to add an opinion. And so, someone to go and take a look at. But I believe it is time for the profile reviewed extravaganza to begin.
We're gonna go quick fire. Keep on dropping questions into chat, but we are, and I want to apologize upfront if we butcher anybody's names. We're doing our best as we continue to go through. So let's start with Nirjan's profile at Chili Piper. We're just literally mentally doing 3-second test.
Okay, what do you think? Three
It's
second
fine.
test, yay or
I
nay?
think it's I don't know. I'm sort of confused. I'd say. I think this banner image could use some work.
I would
I
say
Yeah. Go ahead.
Chili Piper, good addition.
Mm-hmm.
So high traffic on your website is a observation,
Mm-hmm.
but what do you own? What is the category that is authentically you in here? How can you go and spin this so it's people understand why you and you to yourself? So I know a lot of companies will go and use like the sales or the corporate branded logos, but if it doesn't tell a story, because that's what we're doing in our profiles is we're telling a story. It's hard, but I
Mm-hmm.
do like that it's branded in a way that's different.
Yeah, I like this. I think what I'm thrown is that this doesn't connect with a buyer or connect with me as much. Because this would work if I saw it on a piece of content, but if you reached out to me on a connect request, I would likely say no because my mental spam filter would be that you're going to pitch me as soon as you connect with me. So I think there's some like balance back and forth here to figure out um, a headline that could speak clearly to the category, the industry category you're in, like it, inbound conversions or bridging something, or and you could probably strike the book to learn if I can help, in my opinion.
One thing I would do is like describe the situation in their shoes. Maybe with
Hmm.
something to go and play with
Hmm.
is like have all this great content out, but for some reason people are slipping through the cracks. Maybe we should talk.
Yeah. Yeah,
Play more
that's
to the
it.
problem, right? Lean into the
Hmm.
problem, not the solution.
Hmm.
But you guys have a great product that fills a very big need. And I think it would be interesting to see you tease that out, how the problem is
Hmm.
felt in the buyer's shoes, to see what would grab their attention. Can we scroll down? And actually, just
Yep.
wait. The people also viewed Chili
Oh
Chili
yeah, lots of
Sandy.
chili piper. Hmm.
Good. Good, good.
Hmm. So that's good. People are seeing in the same. Love that you're active on content. We're sort of just going like quick skills. I think this is an opportunity for you to throw in a booking link inside your featured image, especially if you have a book to learn if I can help. Throw it in your featured instead of something more resume focused. And just to, I think based on the volume today, Nick, we can't do super deep dives on about, but
Sure. What I do, how I do it.
I think this is good. What I wish is that this was on top. One of the mistakes that we see a lot of sellers make is that they prioritize the asynchronous pitch, quote unquote, in the about section, which is fine. But if you think of like a seesaw or a teeter totter, lots of sellers go too far in the asynchronous pitch and don't infuse their personality. And I imagine you have a lot of personality. So I want this more on this background and more of what you've done previously, what you're interested in, to sort of throw this in even at top, because now somebody's going to scroll down and they're just going to get a lot of Chili Piper now. And I think this is a great opportunity to infuse some personality.
I think Evan nailed it. The one thing, the feel that I'm getting is more like digital resume slash like company.
Hmm.
And I think the one thing that I would love to see, because you have a big personality, I love when you hit my comments and we go and get into the DMs, is you're so much fun. And when
Hmm.
I'm seeing this, it's not showing in your writing. I would just like to see more of that because you're a great guy.
This could actually be a really interesting headline to use. I see this thrown in chat a lot. Social butterfly turned relationship building specialist. I'd simplify the relationship building specialist to something else, but I love the concept of a social butterfly. That would immediately grab my attention if you commented on my stuff. So, ready, Nick? On to the next.
Guys, if you have other comments, we really appreciate that you're giving your feedback in the comments as well. So please keep
Hmm.
going through. Well, unfortunately, we're gonna have to keep moving quick. And then anything else, please like shoot us a DM or let's keep the comments alive because this is crowdsourcing profiles and we really appreciate your guys' help.
Yep. All right. On to Kellen.
Kellen, who's Kellen?
Kellen Casebeer. Who is this? Who's this guy?
The tech powered magician.
Tech powered seller, GTM strategist, helping hundreds of people break into sales, helping founders
Build the
build vehicle.
vehicle to hand over to their first sales hire. I like that. I think that is my favorite line in that whole thing.
Hmm. I'm
Build
almost and I don't know how much outbound you do, Kellen, but I'm almost tempted to just strike everything and only keep that. um, it depends upon how you want to position yourself, of course. I
good
know you're in the
hash,
Bay Area.
good hashies. I like your profile picture. I like that you put the different color in the background. So as you're commenting, it stands
Hmm.
out in the feed. I would just like to go and see a background image really add to that GTM like vehicle building component, really tie to that theme. But I love it.
Yeah,
I
especially yeah,
I think actually, like Morgan was saying, if you cut it down so it's shorter, it'd also be like a little bit more bite size, and it might, as you're commenting, it might, as you play to that brand, could work to your advantage. And also,
totally.
people also viewed, great people.
Yep. Love these names. I think a couple of them are actually in the show today. Hello. um, I love so one thing I love your content's great, Kellen. I know we follow along, we're close. I love the featured stuff. I know you if I scroll really quick, let's just see. Okay, so I almost wonder, given your focus and depending upon what your sort of call to action is you can keep your content stuff in featured, but then underneath the speakeasy, you could add a link to the to like sign up instead of just a URL, depending upon how much direct conversion you want. Since this is sort of a landing page for what you're offering, I think it would be good to have that opportunity because right now somebody would either have to manually type in the URL or click the company page and then go over. Um, I think it'd be a great opportunity to add in a link somewhere.
Good write up.
Hmm. Yeah, this write up in your speakeasy is awesome. I think this is hilarious.
Kellen, I love your personality coming out in your writing. That's what I love about your content too. Good job.
Currently, I classified content. I think that's really funny to me. I think that's awesome.
I love it.
I
I love how you tied it all together.
Yeah, I think this is good. And sure, you could add some more color, but I think for sort of where it is today, depending upon where you want to take it, I think you got all the fundamentals here.
I
Anything
love
else,
it.
Nick?
No, the only thing I would play with, Kellen, I love how this is a great example of a profile that's tied together and all the puzzle pieces fit. The only thing that's missing is that featured about where, or the featured section where you can either book a meeting or get to that link like Morgan was saying. But this is gold. And then I think just
Mhm.
playing with testing your tagline, maybe being a little bit shorter just to see if that punch helps. And then playing with your background image to see if you can tie it all together. But that is brilliant.
Awesome. Love it. All right. Oh boy. On to the next one. Adriana Vidal. Hello, hello.
Ooh, high
Business
school
development
drop
at
obsessed with
Dooley.
sales. See, that is fun.
This just speaks. Oh, there's so much in this headline I love. There's so much personality here. This is actually a really interesting way to sort of contrast. This is your profile, even though you work at Dooley, right? It's not all about Dooley. And I imagine as we get further down, there will be more about Dooley. But
What do you guys think about that? Do
it's,
you like that? Where Adriana really put herself, like, really painted that picture of, like, this is why me, and then went for the company.
yeah.
What do you guys think? Hey, Moore, thanks for joining us. But
Yeah. What's up,
guys, in
more?
the comments, what do you guys think? Is this something as a buyer that would make sense? Will Allred, Tom, William,
Yeah.
Sod,
I mean,
Sam
you got the
McKenna?
right people,
Woo!
right? You're in the right networks. That's very clear. I
What hashies?
It's actually really interesting to me. This is something I just call this out really quick and then we'll move down. This
Mhm.
is something I don't see done all that often and I think speaks to your ability to conceptualize some things. I know what Dooley does. This is such a great casual way to talk about what the product does. And from like a problem focused perspective, and it's clearly not something you would put on like a marketing collateral. So just like high praise, that's all.
I just saw Matthew's comment. It just gave
Oh,
me a
which
good
one?
chuckle.
Oh
Oh
God, you're doing my
God, you're doing
profile.
my profile.
No, no, you're in safe hands around here.
I just
Um,
quit my AE role. So to me, the hierarchy is this is who I am and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
mm-hmm,
A fun YouTube video that adds some feel.
mm-hmm,
I like the one thing I'll challenge is I don't see a booking link.
mm-hmm,
So that inbound funnel, is that something that you would like to go and have? Because I like that you're painting the picture of who you are in so many words, not
mm-hmm.
just like the corporate promo. I love it. But I'm wondering, would it make sense for you to go and have that booking link in there as well, just so that it ties in that whole inbound funnel? What do you think, Morgan?
Agreed. I think it's such a huge opportunity. So let's scroll down because we know you're active. And again, if it's not in your featured section, then it should definitely be at least in your experience section. Um, this is a, I just, this story is so good. I'll be honest
Oh,
with you. I want to clip this. Everybody that's watching, look at this about section because as a seller, this is the way to tell your story and interweave it with your existing position. Like this is so good. Um,
give me shivers. Like it just like it brings me into like really feels for you and like I understand who you are.
mhm. And this is why
Oh,
the 3 second test is so important because if you nail that top, people scroll and will read this.
what do you guys
I also
think?
like the call out of the color consistency. Yes, all of the purple is pretty nice.
I love it.
All right.
Take a quick peek at experience. I just want to see what how it
Oh
ties
yeah.
in.
hmm This is a good asynchronous pitch for Dooley inside the
It's
experience
it's
section.
almost like starting of the medic, like getting
hmm
into the metrics and everything.
hmm I
Nice
like it.
tie-in. Very, very, very well done.
Yep. Just think about adding a booking link somewhere to really hype up that funnel.
Okay,
On to the next.
on to the next.
All right. Carolina, apologies if we get names wrong. Enterprise account executive at Clue.
Competitive enablement for enterprise sales.
Sales.
So what?
hmm
This is the hardest question, and this is what I ask myself when I do any type of pitch: is so what? Why does it matter? I know a lot of people will call it the 5 whys, but it's just think about it like what's in it for them. Like if you're cold calling, some people get really scared because they're interrupting their day. But what would be worth the interruption? That's your tagline.
hmm
What would make you feel confident to always make that call, to go and do that social outreach, to go and send that email, that pitch, and put that in your tagline so that you're more than just a seller and add a little personal flair because you are an amazing person. And right
hmm
now, it's very corporate, and I
Mhm.
just something to consider.
That was definitely my main impression. It just felt very Clue branded, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But I would definitely think about shaping up some sort of problem statement that relates to who you're actually selling to, especially if you're serving a specific vertical. I don't know how territories are managed. And if you're assigned to like only a specific vertical or not, that could be some opportunity as well.
L- I have to say, I do love your profile picture.
Yes,
You look
agreed.
like if you're at a coffee shop and I saw you, I would go and say hi because you look very approachable. You look
Hmm.
professional.
Hmm.
Great headshot.
Agreed. Love that you're active. Keep that up. I think, are we missing it? We're missing an about section.
Uh
Oh
oh.
no. Uh oh. So, as you've seen so far, we won't go too deep on this. An about's just a great opportunity to tell your story and to tell a little bit more about your company. It doesn't have to just be an asynchronous pitch. I think the experience section can actually do that as functionally well. It is your profile, not your company's, even when you're social selling. So, I would consider adding an about section and looking at some of the examples we've seen so far and tell a story, get somebody excited to connect with you and have a conversation with you. It's such a great opportunity to showcase who you are without necessarily hopping on a Zoom call.
I love the idea. I never really thought about it until the last profile, but having your really telling your story, tying in the company and why you chose them. And even Evan talked about this on our show with him of like, how does that align with your personal brand? And then having the experience of why the company,
Mm,
why
hmm.
you, why the company.
Hmm.
I think that might be my go to rolling forward.
Definitely. All right. Ready for the next?
Let's do it.
Let's keep on going. All right. On to Matt Shields.
Your recruiter secret weapon. See, that's fun. Plays the intrigue.
Obvious furniture maker. Good God, that's so good.
Yeah,
Um,
we connected on that, and that was our first conversation. So I will say, not only did it work, but it was a great conversation.
I honestly think the banner is what's letting this profile down, and what it seems like is it's a marketing banner. And the main problem I have with it is not that it's branded; it's that I literally have no idea what you do. So the intrigue on your recruiter secret weapon is really high, and that will appear on your comments or your content. But when I go to your profile, I want to actually kind of get a sense about what Circa does, and in 3 seconds, I still don't know what you do, and that can go one of two ways. Is that more intrigue building? Maybe, but honestly, I'm a busy buyer, quote unquote. I don't have the time to figure it out. I need you to tell me. So I would take the opportunity to at least talk about the category Circa is in and not necessarily just the belief statement, the sort of mission vision statement.
One thing I'll say, I love your headshot. I would
Hmm.
change the background to a color so that when you're commenting and you're in feed, it punches more.
Hmm.
But yeah, one thing I'll just say is Tyrone Morgan said, own the problem. What
Yeah.
problem do you own? What outcome do you own? 'Cause that's how people are making investment decisions for their business.
Hmm.
And then I like that you tied this into yourself of like that intrigue factor. That to me is a win.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that. Let's just look
About.
really quickly. Okay, so first of all, I love that your featured section is about furniture. It's so there's so much personality here.
Look at that coffee table, how cool that is.
Oh, it's such a cool coffee table. See, and this is where, if you think about some of the balance between your personal profile and what you do for business, as Nick said, this is an opportunity to connect with people over something that's not your role. And this is where maybe, even though it's a funnel, you might consider if you are doing social selling, adding a booking link to your experience section. I'm actually not mad at this. I don't know how you feel about it, Nick. I'm actually pretty excited to see this profile. This is interesting to me.
I would like to see you flip it. I would like you
Mm.
to own your personal narrative first of that, like, why you? Authentically, why
Hmm.
you mad? And then flip it to Circa. Why
Hmm.
you pick Circa? Because then it ties in and it adds so much more credibility to who you are. And you do incredible work. So I think I really love how you've played your personal brand into this. I would just like to see you lead more with your personal brand and then put Circa in and like explain why you picked them, why
I
they
agree.
fit with who you are. And then when we go down just a little bit further,
Hmm.
I would expect to see in your experience. This is where I'd like to see you go and put that circle line.
Mm. Mhm.
Just something to consider. Like, there's no perfect answer on that side, but that's what or where I would lean, because that to me paints a better picture of why you, why now. And
Mhm.
then up on your featured, one thing you might want to do is put a booking link just on that first one. And I love that you have your work, because that to me, like we were talking about, like what makes your heart sing.
Mhm.
Now we have a talking piece, because that's what I love building furniture. Not great at it, but it's something I want to get better at. So it was easy for me to lean in and talk to you because I could see your passion through your page.
Awesome. Love it. On to the next. We're just going to keep on going here.
Jordan,
Jordan Weaver. Hello, hello.
he does something in the mountains. I'm just teasing. I'm just
So
teasing.
this is
I love.
definitely the most interesting piece of the headline, but
Ooh.
still at a I still don't know why I should scroll in 3 seconds.
To me, it's that intrigue question. Have you ever
Mhm.
wondered why someone actually chooses you and why they decide to run? Because then it
Mhm.
plays a little bit more, gets a little bit deeper, right? And it plays to that intrigue factor. I
Mhm.
like that you have the yellow. I know I think it was a little while ago you changed that. I like it pops and feed. I can always tell it's you. The only thing that I think you're missing is the back of like that splash of why you, then the personality portion of this for your personal brand, tying it all together.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you could change that sentence to something where it's that intrigue factor to the person, tying to the business of like, have you ever wondered, kind of the story that they're telling themselves? How do you align with that?
And just throw it in a banner image. It doesn't have to be, it's probably one sentence. It probably could be branded. It could look really good here. Cause then I'm going to think, oh, I see this anthro and I'm going to go and I'm going to be like, huh, I wonder what that's about. Right. I think, as we've said on a lot of profiles so far, adding a booking link potentially in featured or in your experience.
I would throw about higher
Hmm.
personally, just to go and tell your personal story. And I would just
So,
take this advantage to really invest in yourself of why you, and tell your story. It was Adriana, right, that had the really great example of this.
hmm.
And it makes you, like, the best thing we ever get in sales is referrals and recommendations, right? And when we write this story, it makes you sticky. People really want to refer you because they know you, even though
Hmm.
maybe they've never met you in our digital world we live in.
I also wonder, I think, and this is so little, and uh, I wonder how much this is influenced by marketing. Is I would strike across all industries, and I would talk about what industries you serve, and I'd make that more clear. Because
Rule
otherwise, I'm
of
going to be like,
three.
yeah. And even if it's just three key industries you sell into, or your three most profitable industries, since you do win loss analysis, I'm sure you know which industries you win the most in. So I would just put that in here instead of settling for across all industries. Just a
Yeah,
little thing.
or some type of like disqualification criteria that of people
Mhm.
from your own win loss analysis and churn analysis of who you want to talk to.
Yep.
I know it's a pain in the butt, but it definitely makes a difference.
It helps.
Bifurcation. People like
Mhm.
us say things like this.
Mhm. Shall we?
We shall, we shall.
We shall, we shall. We're just going to keep on going. Michelle Craig. Okay. This line is so funny to me. Over caffeinated and excited to be here is awesome. It adds personality. It's more than just the company. Every time I see that pop up in a comment that you offer, Michelle, I'm always excited because I'm like, oh, I can sort of guess how it would be to sit down with you over some coffee.
And I think it ties in really well with like the humanize your approach, the fun font, your big smile in your picture. I would say the one thing that could be really fun for you, just so you like have like that big pop in your profile when you're tagging or like commenting, is just adding a color in the background, maybe blue or maybe
Mm.
that fun green that you guys have. You can grab that from your marketing team, the hex code. This is fun. To me, it gives me a reason to talk to you because I can see that splash of personality jump out right away.
And I'll be honest, this is like one profile when I clicked on, immediately I'm like, I want to learn more. And it's just all of those things subconsciously came together in 3 seconds where I was like, I want to scroll. I want to learn more. So let's scroll.
Let's scroll.
Love the featured posts. Again, as we've always said, booking links, something to consider. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba.
Good activity. Let's do this
I
about.
wonder if this is the case because you're here. I don't know.
I love the disclaimer. Ha ha ha. Under construction.
I like that.
Unless you tied
Uh,
it in as your theme, as like you're constantly building yourself, that would be really
mhm.
cool as a personal brand too.
But most likely to hype the team. See, this is great little personality things. I wonder if you could add a little more about your backstory, and maybe that's what's under construction here. What brought you to Postal? Why you're passionate about being
Ooh.
there?
I will say the one thing I
Hmm.
love is the hierarchy of how you presented this. Postal came in very last, but you didn't say postal.
Right.
Now that is
So good.
beautiful. Well done.
Hmm. Now it's speaking to a specific problem, and it's just generating intrigue. It's leaving a breadcrumb for me to learn more. And then there's sort of asynchronous standard marketing language here, which is pretty good.
Skills, closing, social selling. Love it.
Nice.
Great profile.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see
Just
the update on the under construction.
agreed. All right. Forgive me for Vassal, I believe. All right. SDR gradual.
Helping sales departments grow fast and easily. Why?
Hmm.
What's hard about growing it? Why do you need to grow fast? What doors would fast open for me?
As the buyer. Hmm.
Just something to play with. And this is kind of the example of like a background image. If it doesn't tie into the story, it leaves me wondering why. Personally, this you wouldn't pass the 3-second test for me because it to me it I can't see myself in your writing. I'm not quite sure, and I also don't see a splash of personality. So it's very corporate. I would expect you to go and try and sell me.
I would expect a pitch, I think, off of this as well. I am intrigued by the make your customers like your salespeople. I think you could really play with that if that's something related to the product that you could extend into your entire headline and then scrap the SDR, scrap the gradual.io,
So
and
take
just,
that theme of the
hmm
that would be a fun theme to run with, especially if you have a personal story that ties into that.
hmm
That would be a
agreed.
really great landing page.
But immediately, this grabbed my attention because it's,
Mm.
hi, Nate. Because it's
They shape
it's like,
personality they
oh, there
teach.
is personality here, and it's a little, there's some story in here, there's some passion. Like, my generation faced the dawn of the internet era, this is why I moved to SaaS. I think there's some like formatting things you can make it easier to read, less chunky. You could break apart some sentences so that it's an easier flow, like a LinkedIn post almost. But I honestly I actually kind of really like this about section.
I like
Uh,
how he tied it in with gradual as a place where these three passions, and he tied it
mhm.
into why I picked this. Brilliant. Love
So
it.
good.
Great about section. And then also
Mhm.
took the mystery out of like what we do. Beautiful tie-in.
Mhm. I definitely think there could be some um I a lot of this sounds like marketing language because nobody ever says I need individually shaped knowledge reinforcement. Like, nobody ever comes knocking to your door saying, "Where is my individually shaped knowledge reinforcement?" Like, we want there's probably some going to be a casual way somebody talks about that, and I would think about that both for your headline and for the way you talk about what gradual does. And some of that might get refined through your outbound prospecting and seeing what messaging resonates.
What do you think? Should we go take a quick look? Good activity,
Mhm.
experience. This is kind of where I'd like to see more of the experience and like that marketing, like metric focused marketing talk maybe is right here.
Mhm.
Then if you wanted to go and add a little bit more punchy detail, or you could even just do something intriguing like we were talking about earlier about the bread
Having struggles with
breadcrumbs.
English today?
The coffee apparently is decaffeinated.
Oh boy. All right. This is great overall, and I think I love the about, and there's some great stuff to consider elsewhere. Shall
Okay.
we?
Yeah. I just noticed that we only got 20
I
minutes
know.
left.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
what? Mike Carter exists. I'll find. Okay, we got Marlena Johnson first. So obvious opportunity here is to add a beautiful. See, Mike Carter exists. I don't know. Is to add a beautiful headshot.
Okay. Headshot, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Splash of personality. Why you? And
Mm-hmm.
then why your company? Do something great is great if you tie it in.
Mm-hmm.
Because that to me stands out, and people will see it when they're scrolling with the new LinkedIn updates. But I would just
Mm-hmm.
like to go and see that kind of splash. So let's keep going. Activity.
Agreed.
One thing I would like to also see, and this is a credibility thing, is try your best to professionally network to the 500. It adds a
Mm.
lot of credibility. Under 500 says, I just started my profile, and it doesn't work to your advantage. So I would go and do that. I'd also add an about section. And then with your experience, this is very kind of resume ish.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see you go and add kind of that your why. Why did
Mm-hmm.
you pick them? What is your goals? Tie that into that more professional work focused piece. And that I think will go and allow you to go and have better conversations when you do connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to go jump to Mike and tie this in because they're the same
Yep.
company?
I think Mike, I may have gotten the wrong link. So, anyways, you do exist out on LinkedIn. Don't worry. This is super interesting as a headline. Can we just talk about that?
Mike, I told you Morgan would like it.
That's
Ha!
that's really intriguing to me. One, because the wave is such a good emoji for your brand, and it's also attention getting. Like this is a really creative way to talk about what you do without being corporate, right? Without necessarily being corporate about it.
What do you think about the headshot and the background image? I do exist. You do
I,
exist.
I do think your headshot could be smiling, and I do think that this. I think the crop, like close to your face, is fine, but I would love to see a smile. And then I think the banner image could use some work, but also I wonder if the headline is like strong enough for me to carry. It might be for me.
Oh, especially if you're commenting. I saw that. I would be interested in learning more. So I'd hit here. I would definitely do a different background image and kind of the same advice. Really push to get to that 500 by professionally networking,
Hmm.
finding those people because it adds credibility when you do outreach. If you have mutual connections, especially in companies they trust, makes it easier to connect with you.
Nice, cool.
In
Um,
the about section. Yes, that's right.
it's great. I think there's some formatting things again. You could make it easier to read. Um, I wonder about flipping the in my. I would strike in my professional career, and I just start with I've gone from journalism to carpentry to sales, and sort of like move it up,
I also
and
like come
then.
ride the wave. I'd put come ride the wave, do it.
Hmm.
Yeah, just strike in my professional career and go there because it's like, this is why Mike.
Hmm. This is why Mike agreed. Cool.
Got to go and cheer on our Canadian friends.
Oh, yeah. All right. I think yeah. I think this is generally good direction. Could think about reformatting the about and work on the 3 second test.
Love it.
Ready?
And
Ready?
if you're
Oh.
looking for your background image, Canva is a good place to go and format. Oh, look at who it is.
All right, we're doing two back-to-back pairs who would volunteer. One, Jeff Hendricks, hello, key account executive at Challenger. Go ahead, Nick.
I want to say that why Jeff? So I
Mm,
know why Jeff because Jeff has a big personality. He's so much fun when you get him in meetings. But why Jeff? What? How does it tie into Challenger? Why Challenger?
hmm.
Or do you? I know a lot of people know who Challenger is, but knowing your audience, adding a little punch of why you could really go and add that spice. And
Yeah,
I don't actually mind the background image
no,
with
I think
the data.
these two are great. This is interesting enough for me to like sort of scroll. I think this, and I know this is pretty standard at Challenger, so I wonder if there's some like marketing things involved, but um I just want a little more. I just want more. That's all. I want to know a little bit more about you and not just your role. Because as we scroll,
One thing just
oh
before
yeah,
you
go ahead.
go,
Sorry.
your hashtags, sales development, good, sales, is
Mhm.
more like sales in terms of like stuff that's on sale, something just to consider. Sales coaching, I don't know what the volume of sales coaching and effectiveness is. I know that sales enablement definitely has good volume, but check your
Mhm.
volume, search in LinkedIn, and then actually click on the hashtag, and it will show you the amount of followers that are following that hashtag. Sorry, Morgan.
Mhm. No worries. Um, yeah, I mean, sort of scrolling past the featured section and the same thing we've been talking about today for the booking link. I think this is your big opportunity because the Challenger brand is pretty strong. And if people haven't heard about it, I think there's enough prompt to sort of scroll down and learn it. I just want, I just want to know who you are, and I'm
Mm.
not getting this. I'm getting a corporate. I'm learning things about Challenger and why you're at the organization in some ways. But I want like, what are your passions? Why this one? Why? Um, your background brought you here. Are you a hobbyist woodworker? Oh, sorry guys. Etc. You're welcome, Mike, by the way.
If we can tie this in and really why you, like, you're a great guy. We've enjoyed having meetings with you. I just don't see that person we met that we really like to go and hang out with here, because I would recommend you because of you, not
Hmm.
just because of Challenger. And right now, that's kind of the thing. It's like, well, how do I recommend you? I
Hmm.
I know you're good, but I just want to see it.
Hmm. All right. Shall we do a compare and contrast?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's go to Jonathan Dresnick, another account executive at Challenger. Oh, those questions make me chuckle. Sorry, Mike.
What are you doing to solve for that? Almost be interesting of like, have you ever sat there wondering after being in a deal for 6 months why it just fell off the table?
Mm,
I'd
hmm.
almost want to go like one question, the one question to rule them all, and go a little bit deeper and then tie it into your story of like something that you've either bugged you or something that you've experienced. I like the banner.
Hmm. Yeah, again.
I think I would like to see, I don't know, that Challenger orange or the red might be fun to put as a punchy color in the back. Bright definitely works better than dark, although Morgan's played with both, and
Pros and
I find
cons.
that, yeah, I would say the bright tends to do better.
Hmm.
Uh, if you wanted, you could turn on creator mode, get access to the newsletters and the live stream if you wanted. Biggest thing is that it expands your reach a little bit,
Hmm.
but something to consider. The
Yeah,
scroll, the scroll.
I know we'll need to scroll, but I just am thinking about like what is the deeper frame breaking insight that will that you could actually ask as the question here, because why are you losing deals is a good pain thing. What are you doing to solve for that is definitely like a great opener, but I wonder if there's something a little bit deeper that could get somebody's attention, because the goal is not necessarily just here. It's also when you show up and people also viewed. It's also when you comment or you post. What's the thing that's going to get somebody's attention in 50 characters or less for them to come to your profile, to which
Oh, I
then
just
they, oh yeah, go for it.
I just saw somebody had asked on the recording, do you get the comments? Yes. In the LinkedIn live, if you come back to the event and watch it, the comments will pop up. So please throw it in the comments.
Hmm.
Everybody will get to see it. On the YouTube, it won't,
Hmm.
but you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, you win some, you lose. Love how active you are. We know you're super active. This is honestly one of the best opening lines on an about section. A washed up golfer trying to help other sellers wondering how they got here too.
I love it.
Oh, that is speaks to a personality, which is really nice. I like the way you're telling this story too. There's a rhythm to your writing, which I really enjoy. By nature, novice storyteller in the making. I think there's an opportunity to maybe add like one more chunk this long that talks a little bit about how you got here, a little bit of a background, because I know you've been at CEB and done previous stuff. So, but this is pretty good. I wonder also about shifting some of this asynchronous pitch into the challenger experience section and then adding a
Mm.
little bit more personal color.
Actually, that's a great idea. If you took out some of the challenge and kind of
Hmm.
put in the more analytic focus piece into the challenger part, That could be a
Mm.
really nice tie-in, and maybe use, I can't remember if it was Kellen or whoever had it, where it was basically like, look at my experience section. So you're actually taking people on a journey through your profile. Could be a really great way, and it could be a, fun competition between the two of you to go and
Yeah.
you can get the ace in the hole in one.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, I see what you did there, Nick.
I tried, but my handicap is strong.
Oh.
We could go to the range, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to embarrass you on the course.
All right, let's keep on going.
And I mean that not as I'm good.
Zach Jones, director of sales.
I really like this background image.
It's really attention getting.
It really ties in nice because it's like, okay, get your mind going. I'd
Hmm.
like to see the picture a little bit bigger, a little more zoomed in, just so that you get more of your facial features.
Hmm.
And because you have such a creative, like energetic brand, I'd like to see more color punch within the background. This
And
doesn't really say anything about who you are, why you.
yeah,
This
I think
basically
the
would
headline.
guide somebody to go and sell you.
Hmm. I think the headline is what would need the most work uh, to sort of tie in what this means, what problem creative reality quote solves, why people should care.
And even like the
Um,
hashtags, I'd also go and test to see the volume on those too.
and how they relate back to what you have to offer.
No featured, definitely out of featured.
Hmm. Okay, so this is interesting. So here's the thing, something to consider. This is the first time I had to scroll that I've encountered what you actually do. And I think between your headline or your content or the banner image, your experience section should not be the first time that I encounter generally what you do. So I would rework the about section to tell more of your story, chunk it out, add it, make it a little more readable. And then um, I think this is fine as an asynchronous pitch here, but then re-add in some booking stuff. I don't know, Nick. What do you think?
I agree. And
Hmm.
even if it's not you booking, you could redirect to the website or even to your reps like shared calendar, the round robin,
Yep.
but just say that in the landing page.
Yeah, or direct to an industry tailored landing page, depending upon what makes sense for your buying motion.
Heck yeah.
All
I
right.
just I feel like the biggest thing that would work for you is just why you tell
Hmm.
your story. We've all made mistakes. We've all had big learning experiences. Just love to go and hear a little bit about that so I feel closer to you by reading your profile.
Agreed. All right. Non-Kishore. All right. I would just strike this first stuff and just keep the helping C-level executives set up outsourced remote teams.
Why
Uh,
C-suite?
and also, yeah, I think there's some good questions to ask.
I would play the so what game or
Hmm.
the why 5 times. It's really like really high level generic. It doesn't actually tie to a problem unless somebody's very problem aware and they're like, "Oh yeah, like I'm a C-level executive and I trust you," which is the biggest piece. Then I would click this. Otherwise, I'm searching on the internet or I'm getting a referral from a friend. So just I'd play on that.
And also, given the industry, if I got a connection request from somebody that said helping C-suite or C-level executives set up outsourced remote teams, I'd probably reject it because I'm going to expect you to pitch me on setting up an outsourced remote team. So there might be some thinking about the problem that you solve. Is it about cost? Is it about time? Is it ramp? Is it expertise? Is it, what are the problems that the C-levels are trying to solve? And then position your headline around that, basically.
Yeah, why?
And I'll tie in your banner image too.
Yeah, why are you passionate about it? Why did you choose this company? And even if you didn't choose it because it was the best opportunity that was available,
Hmm.
I'm not saying tell a lie. I'm just saying tell the truth the best you can.
So
Just
it's
tell
really
it.
cool to see. There's definitely some personality about the books, about some other things. I like the story that you're telling in here. I think it could probably get. I'm just sort of briefly looking over. cleaned up a little bit, make it a little bit tighter. There's a lot of sort of what I would call resume focused language in here about what you've done, why that's important, what communities you're a part of. The sort of we behind the scenes rudely call that peacocking. You're not peacocking here, but I think that sometimes people will see this sort of list of things as sort of like status symbols or status icons, and it's not as important as the story that you're trying to tell. I love this early stuff. I love the lifelong learner. And I would then just tie it back into Mind Bowser and um, tell that story pretty strongly.
And don't be afraid to use the experience section to get into the nitty gritty if you want to, because if they've scrolled that far,
Hmm.
and that could be, and you went through something in there, so
Hmm.
well done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. This is a good layout. I think it could just get tightened up a bit, basically. All
Okay,
right. We might have been ambitious with the 20, Nick.
Proposify.
Hunter S. Thompson.
I would add a punch of color to the headshot. I like that your headshot is more of you, so that it gives you like that body language too.
Hmm.
I think that the banner is fine because it says who you are. I will say these like leader things. I wish somebody in marketing would know that nobody gives a shit
Yeah,
about.
I know.
It just doesn't make a difference to who you're talking to.
No.
Is your proposal process painstakingly manual? It's not bad. Like we've all
Hmm.
been there in sales.
Hmm.
My question would be: have you tried other things? Have you tested to see? And have
Hmm.
you tried adding a splash of why you?
Because, like, I could imagine as an example, easy breezy proposal processes. That's like a
We're gonna go
fun,
cover girl for
easy breezy cover girl. No, but that's the idea, right? Like you're trying to take some of that language that evokes those emotions. Yes, Hunter Thompson is our next cover girl. Everyone, no, easy breezy proposal processes or something like that that speaks more to the category that you're in than a provocative question. I don't know how much testing you've done on this headline for your industry, but I could imagine that this headline is better for inbound leads than for outbound because they'll see your content and they'll click. But if you send a connection request, they'll probably reject it because they're going to expect a pitch. Evan,
maybe
maybe
it's
it's Maybelline. It's really funny. I love that. All right. I love
uh,
that you're active with content. Hunter S. Thompson. Yes, it is my real name. That's great. I would so Nick is often very blunt with this. I genuinely just want to help. Okay? If you didn't do that, what would you do? Right? So in order to tighten this up, I would strike this and start with no skeezy salesman here.
I'd also go and
Um,
say, show me, don't tell me.
mhm,
How tell a story.
mhm.
Why do you not want to be sleazy? What does sleazy actually look like? What does it feel like in the buyer's shoes? Like give me a little bit more like emotion and description instead of just giving me the basics. Because it's so easy to go and lie and just say that. It's another thing when you tell a story and people are like, yeah, like I've had that sleazy experience. I would rather pick you because you get it and you're not going to do that to me.
There's an interesting thing in here which you could work with. A cookie tracker doesn't tell you whether they've opened up the email, right? Okay, so or it doesn't count. I wonder if that's a way to develop a headline based on this insight because what it sounds like from this is that Proposify can help people with that about insight into what's available at each stage of the sales cycle. So what like there's many directions here. Proposal tracking in a cookieless world. There's easy breezy proposal processing. There's I'm still stuck on that one, obviously. There's like uh
Easy
something
breezy,
about
beautiful
yeah,
proposals.
managing sales cycles or herding cats for the proposal. Like there's think about analogies that you could use to talk about what it means to have this product, the world, the promised land, if you will, of working with your company.
Well, I think the lead is buried to drastically shorten your sales cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And so play I would think I would play on that, use that as your theme throughout this on the business side, and then I would tie into like whether it's the sleaze or the communication or how it all kind of pulls together in this really cool story that goes, you're the guide that I need to go and make, be the hero of the story or however the hero's
Mm-hmm.
tale rolls, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, so I just saw the time. Goodness, this hour has flown by. What we're going to do is if we selected, first of all, thanks everyone for being here. If we selected your profile, there's like 5 more to go through. We'll just send you a video. If you ask for a profile review and we didn't get today and you don't get a video, we have a special gift for you to help improve your profile. That just free little resource we put together that can sort of a resource to help go through some of the things that we talked about. And if you got a profile review and you also want that resource, my DMs are open. I'd be happy to send it to you.
Is there anybody else, in the comments maybe you want to open that up to, or
Um, I mean,
profile
any
resource?
at if
Shoot me a
anyone,
DM and
yeah,
connect.
shoot me a DM if you want it. I'd be happy to. It's how to basically how to build your profile funnel. How do you take the stuff we talked about today? Free little resource that we put together. Happy to share it around. And this is an extravaganza. I think we were maybe too ambitious with the 20, Nick.
It happens.
It happens.
But thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate you being here for the full hour. And like I've said in the past, it's 2022. It is no longer okay as sellers to go and feel like we're alone in this world. Nobody should be suffering in silence. Get in the comments, go and connect with these people, be part of the community so we can support you. You do not need to buy anything. If you are in need of help, you need someone to talk to, shoot us a message and we will support you. And what?
Evan's comment just says, "Read my profile for filth." I will. I'll send you something, Evan. Don't worry.
And
Uh,
we really appreciate you guys being here and being part of the community. We do this for you, and we can't wait to see you guys all on Tuesday, where we talk about sales in a downturn. Or is that what
mhm.
we calling it now?
Selling during times of adversity, something like that. With the one and only David Premer, he's an extraordinary. So find that on Nick's profile, and if you want an invite, just DM us. We'd be happy to invite you to it.
Thank you, everyone. Hope you
Thanks.
have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.